Well, this is Baruch here at the Tikkun Elevator Kol, and what we got going on now is the makeup shear in the Sifra Tzniuta. So this is the real depth of the Zohar. So I forgot to record it when I had the live chavrusa, and so I'm recording it again. It gives me a chance to go a little bit slower and try to digest this also. So we'll start at the top, and actually the pasuk, and this is the way that the Sifra Tzniuta goes. It brings you a pasuk which often offhand by itself is so hidden you wouldn't know what it's talking about. So he said, "Yakirusa haki ksiv." So we now decided that the word yakirusa, which yakar means precious or expensive, but let's say not that way, but let's say precious, which refers to the beard of Eric Anpin. Biakirusa haki ksiv, in regards to this preciousness, the beard. Lo aver ba ish velo yashev adam sham. There, so no man passed through that, and no man passed through, and no man lived there or dwelt there. Adam levarhu. So the man is on the outside. Adam lo kalil chacha. The man is not incorporated here. Kol shechein ish, and certainly not the man. So in other words, we have Adam, so let's just stick with the Hebrew. He says, Adam lo kalil chacha, and another word for Adam is ish, kol shechein ish. So let me see, B'Slaser in the V and Mavua, let me see, that's where it stops right there. Okay, so we'll put a little mark there. Now let's go over here and figure out where we were yesterday. So what we're going to do is we're going to read the Pirush Rahut, and then we're going to come down, we're going to look at number 19, which is down below here, and we'll take a look at in more depth. He says, let's just read the top and just get the flow going. Biyakirusa haki kasiv, in regards to this precious bidabid bedikna hazos, we're talking about the beard of Eric Anpin, the Eric Anpin, shenikra yakirusa, which is called his preciousness. The pasuk says, Ba'aretz lo avar ba ish velo yashiv adam sham. So this is a pasuk in Yirmiyah. And over there, the pasuk says that a man, no man, below over ba ish, no man meaning ish, below yashiv adam sham, and no man stayed there, lived there, dwelt there. The pasuk itself is speaking about Eric Anpin. What does it mean that no ish passes and no man, no adam lives there? He says, below ish, below adam. It's not called either one of those things. So now I'm learning a little bit different than I learned it with Chavrusa. He said because the Eric Anpin is not called a man and it's not called an ish. Adam levarku, because the Adam himself is found outside. Ki Adam ain't a nikra elazer Anpin. Only this also refers to Zer Anpin, and the relationship between Zer Anpin and Eric Anpin is not equal. So that's what does he mean by that? So he says, let's look at number Yud Tes, and remember that we're going over Makoros V'Tziyun, and we're really looking at the origins, and I've found this word philology, of how we got to these, the meanings of these very obscure psukim that the Idra is bringing us. He says, Rei Bashar Mamari Rashbi, look over there. Shabir Kani Svengo Vebzel Lishono. Adam Levar Hu. The man is on the outside. Pirish Adam hu bezer anpin. This refers to zer anpin below be'erik anpin. V'ap bezer anpin enu nikra Adam, and even regards to zer anpin, he's still not called an Adam. Ela b'chachoyte v'la eloch. Now, exactly what this means, he means the very top part of zer anpin is the part that refers to him as as Adam. Now, I never learned this before, I never saw this before, I don't know really what he means. Now that states over there in the Idra Rabbah, and it says aside, Adkan, Rei Be'idra Rabbah, he says he's going to quote it, the lo hu ma'aser de ikre Adam, and he doesn't come from the place that's called man. So I guess he's talking about Eric Anpin. The hal lo iska de partzuva v'chuvachut, because his partzuf is not revealed, and his nose is not revealed. Ella mitzcha belchadui. The only thing that is revealed It's covered over, I guess he means everywhere else, only his forehead. V'asa the le'ishtakach partzufa, in a place where there's no complete partzuf, lo ikri Adam, it can't be called by the name Adam. So I think he's talking about, it's very obscure to me. Now, this is the second time I've read this, besides I always proofread before I read on this. He says, I didn't really understand it. He says, Lo ikre Adam, he's not called Adam, even so that we're talking about this high part, he's not complete parts of again, kach lo Adam hu lehinochim. So that's the reason why Eric Anpin is not a man. That's another pasuk over here in Shmuel. He's not a man that he could regret. Now, what is he talking about? Adkan. Mash b'sham, and it implies from over there. The mifnei ma'alasa b'gadluso eno nikbrach ma'alach b'shem Adam, because of the tremendous height. The word Adam cannot be applied to Eric Anpin, even though we would say that Eric Anpin has a rosh, a toch, and a sof, like a human being. Say, for example, the formation of his lights are to some extent like that, but he never still would be called by the name Adam. Rei b'sefer ruach David, so look over there, idra rabba, he said, b'shem Arizal, shabir b'zel l'shona, so he explains it, and this is his language. He said, l'mala, he said, God luso sheyiskayim dibura b'chal kol panim, that in any case, he should fulfill what he's got to say, Ayin Sham. So, let's go on. So what we're going to, I actually pulled the wrong way. So what we do is we're going to read after Yud Tes. So now we have an idea that we're not talking about Eric Anpin, because Eric Anpin, the only part of Eric Anpin is completely covered. I'm not sure exactly how that worked, because my understanding is that, is he going to say this still? He's going to say that Abba Be'ima covers Eric Anpin from his throat down to his belly button. So he says, so therefore, what is the metaphor that he's teaching us, that he's covered all the way up over his nose and unrecognizable as the parts of, and the only thing that's revealed is his forehead. So that's not the neck. So I'm not sure exactly how my understanding is working here. I need to be informed. So let's go on a little bit more, and we're just going to say like this. He said after number Yud Tes, Shemalvish as Eric Anpin b'chutz, because it winds up that he covers over Eric Anpin from the outside, ve'eno nichlol b'dikna de Eric Anpin, and never becomes a part of the beard of Eric Anpin, mo Abba ve'ima hanichlol b'dikna de Eric Anpin, for example, Abba ve'ima, that are subsumed into Eric Anpin because that light is covering over them. Let's look at number Kaf. Number Kaf says, look at the continuation as it's saying like this. Adam lo kalo hocho. Man is not incorporated here. V'hidras melech is Shabir Khan explains like this. Adam shuhu zer anpin. When we use the word Adam, it refers to zer anpin. Einu kalo sham aki adikna chofefes al Abba ve'ima, because the dick that covers over Abba ve'ima v'chov zer anpin. Nikra hakul de lubar. He's the one on the outside. Kaloshan the idra rabba, that's the language hakul de lubar iskri zer anpin. So he's called hakul de lubar. He's the one. Bar means outside. V'zechu v'shamar adach of the barku. That's what it means. The Adam is on the outside. Ad kan, and his boyer Yosef v'perish atalmid kan. V'zel l'shana. So this is what he says. Let me get that focus. Come back. There you go. So he says, "Upirish atalmid b'chadras melech." There's the perushim rei od ba'aras the ale, etc., etc. Number Yud Zion, I think we're skipping, and then we're going. So excuse me, I'm in the wrong place. So let's do number Kuf. I don't know if I just did it already. I don't know what I'm doing. He says number Kuf. He says so look as we go on what it says. Adam lo kalo hocho. No man is incorporated here. Rei Bahadras Melech, overlook of the Shabir Khan explains over here that Adam Shuhuzer Anpin Enu Kalu Sham is not incorporated there. Ki Hadikna Hofefes al Abba Ve'ima, because the beard covers over Abba Ve'ima. That's Chochma Bina. Avazer Anpin Nikra HaBachachtu Labar, he's on the outskirts, Lashon the Idra Rabba, which is the language of the Bachachtu Labar, is Zer Anpin. I guess I was reading over here. So that's what it says, Adam, and the Adam concept, the concept of Adam is on the outside, Akan. When his boyer Yosef of a Talmud, so explains there more. Kan Vizel Lashona, this is what he said, Bedilib. He said, the Digna Kadisha to Eric Anpin, so the holy beard of Eric Anpin. Let me move this over here a little bit. Nachis ad Tibura the Liba goes all the way down to the Tibur, the Eric Anpin. Because until that place, that's where the Partsufa Abba Ve'ima reach. Ki Abba Ve'ima Malvishim as Eric Anpin, they cover over Eric Anpin, Megrona Tibura from his throat down to his tibur, and the beard covers over them. Which is another words for Abba Ve'ima, they're all part of the Digna Kadisha. But the man, which is a secret of Zer Anpin is called man, which is the Gematria 45. Let's go through that in another place. Hanikra Adam Kamoshana Emar is called a man, as we say, Katiferis Adam, the Shevis bias. So, like for the glory of a man, the Shevis bias. What is that? Who Einu Kalu Hacha? But that Sheva, that Shvach that we're talking about, is not part of this over here. Ki parts of Zer Anpin, Maskil Tibor Eric Anpin. It starts at a low place in Zer Anpin. Visham Mistayim Adikta at the place where the beard stops. So it doesn't have contact with the beard. Hakan. Fine, Sham. Oh, there's more over that. Let's skip on and let's go to number 21. So before we do that, we'll read number 20. So there it is. So number 20. So Vihine Zer Anpin Ba'oda Bechinas Katnus. While he's still in a state of Katnus. He's only 6 kitzvahs. Nikra Ish. He's called an Ish, Ugashagira the Godless, Oz Nikra Adam. And when he reaches Godless, then at that point he's called Adam. So let's look at number 21 and try to get an idea what is he talking about here. So he says, Rei Be'etz Chaim. Let's see this. Be'etz Chaim. He says, what does it say? V'zel D'shana V'hiyozer Anpin Ben Vav Kitzvahs. And he only has Chesed Gevurah Teferes Netzachod Yesod. And there's a Malchus also. He says he only has 6 kitzvahs, Nikra Ish. At that point, he's called an Ish. V'gamat Salam Shalom. That is the relationship that he has. Salam is talking about the 3 different parts of the light of Ima, of Bina, which come into Zer Anpin. And the lowest part is called the Tzadid Tzalim, and the middle part is called the Lamed Tzalim. And the top part, the highest part, is called the Mem Tzalim. That's a concept of Tzalim. He says, anyway, Hivagam Had Tzalim Shalom Nikra Tzalim Ish. It's called Tzalim Ish because all the Shefa from Ima is coming in Katnas. Besod Ak B'Tzalim Yischalik Ish, which that is the secret of that pasuk. But now he gets Mochen the Godless Nikra Zer Anpin Adam, then he's called a man. Shalem beyud Sifra. So man, so the difference between Ish and a man is the addition of a developed head, of an adult head of consciousness of Hashem. He now is Yud Sfiros. Vaz had Salam Shalom, then his Salam. Nikrat Salam Adam Kamosha Ne'emar is called the Salam of a man, as it's stated. Na'asa Adam B'Tzalmenu Kedebusenu. So we have that idea Ad Kan, Ayin Sham, over there. There's more about that. So Vahuva B'Yafashah, so another Pirish called the Yafashah. The Khan, he brings it up in Besam and Besayim Sham, and he concludes over there, Al Zechav Ezel Deshon. Nimsa Nikra B'Katnuso Ish Uvagadluso Adam. Period. V'chein Chu Be'etz Chaim, also the same thing. La'el Sham, he says, also you see this in the Mavasharim. And he said, where else? V'rei od b'ha'aris, and we're going to see stuff in the back about this. We'll get more about it. V'rei b'od b'urim, so we'll see that later on. Let's go to number 21. Number 21, we'll read after that, and it says, Pasuk on Hizkir, Shtei Dargos Elu Ba'amar. So the Pasuk is actually telling us that there's 2 different relationships between the beard of Eric Anpin and Zer Anpin. because Zer Anpin has two different forms. There's an Ish aspect to Zer Anpin, and there's an Adam aspect to Eric Anpin. The Kavana is what? Adam lo kalo hocho, that the man is not incorporated in this. What does that mean? He says, Ki gam kasher anpen nikra v'nikra Adam. So in the stage that he's called Adam, which would mean that he has 10 full spheros. In the nikla bedikta de Eric Anpen, he's still not a part of the dikna of Eric Anpen, called Shekhen certainly, when he's called Ish. Because Shechem Shazer Anpen Bakat Nusach Nikra Ish, when he's only 6 kitzvos and 6 spheros, Ish Edo Nichlo, he's not the bedikna the Eric Anpen. So this is what it says over here in the pasuk. Al dikna the Eric Anpen, when it goes onto the beard of Zer Anpen. Kilo zu bilvad the Ish who Zer Anpen bekatnas. So not so only the Ish when we talk about Zer Anpen and katnas. Lo avaba, he doesn't pass into the beard. He says, Allah af Adam, even when he's in 10 spheros and he's in godless. Shuhu zer anpen begodless gam came lo yashiv sham. Also, he doesn't dwell there either. So the beard has nothing to do with zer anpen, or what does it have to do with zer anpen? Let's look a little bit more. I think we're on number Kaf Beis now. So Kaf Beis says, Rei Bahadras Melech. He says, look over there. Let me see if we can get this a little bit more. There we go. V'hadras Melech Shabir Kam V'zel Lashon explains it, and this is what he says: Adam, which refers to Zer Anpin b'shleimus partzufa, when his partzuf is complete. He said v'kol shechem ish also. So when it says ish who kodem his godlus, so this is before he has 10 complete spheros, becomes a partzuf. Like Moshe Amber B'Zoyer Tazria, he says over there V'zel Lashon Hazam. Lo ishtakach shlimusa de kula, so the completeness of the whole thing is not found. He's a beginning kach ikra ish, and for this reason it's called the ish. So here we say ish goes with that idea. Aval hacha b'shleim is the kula, but now when Zer Anpin has godless and awareness of God, and he becomes into that level, v'chlal lecha the kula begin kach ikra Adam, and in this state, in general, he's called Adam Adkan. So here's a phrase that I find in the Kriya Shema L'Lamita. It says that it refers to, I thought, Malchus. It calls the Ishon Bas Ayin. What's Ishon mean? It's a variation of the word Ish. So he says, he said that if you look deeply into the eye, you'll find something in the form. I guess you talk about the pupil. I'm not sure right here. He says that we'd have to go backwards and look at it more closely. But he yos cotton harbe, but since it's so tremendously tiny, Nikra Ishon, it's called by the way, it has a variation on the name called Ishon. He says, so he says so you say this in the Radak, you can see this. Oh, Adkan. So then you can explain the pasuk like this, not this and not that. As we explained, and we're going to explain. So the Gra says like this, and he spells it out a little bit better. The Fi Darko, and he says like this: that means lo zu bilvad, the lo avar. That's not just this, that doesn't pass through the beard of Eric Anpin. After this, even when it's in godless, lo yashav Adam adkan ein sham. So we see that both of those two forms of Zer Anpin still do not reach to Eric Anpin. So he said, so the mashmos of this is here, is what? The Zer Anpin, begadluso, av she'ein lo yeshivach bedikna de Eric Anpin, that in his godless, even though that he doesn't dwell in the dikna of Eric Anpin, im kol zeha bara yeshlo, but so, wait a minute. He said, but it does pass through. That is not true 100%, what you said. Rabbi Yafashag over there, who explains as he goes along. Behind the bitafid is mincha de Shabbos. Let's go to mincha Shabbos. The highest level of closeness to Hashem is at mincha de Shabbos. The Oz who Zer Anpin bebechinas godless. Zer Anpin is 10 spheros. And even so that he's just 10 spheros, and we've been saying all along that he doesn't fit under the beard of Eric Anpin. Af she'ein yeshiva b'kol hadikna de Erikanpin, and even though he doesn't reach yeshiva, dwelling there, a residence or reside there in the entire beer of Zer Anpin, ki ola rak levok the dikna, because Zer Anpin, who is the original vok, goes only onto the vok of Eric Anpin. That's all the hierarchy of the beard of Zer Anpin. Im kol zecha v'yesh docha ara b'derech avara merachok mikol digna de Eric Anpin. And even though he doesn't reach the top four spheres, let's say in that way, or the tikkunim of the beard of Eric Anpin, he still gets an aura from that. V'chafilu medale tikkunim b'rishonim ayin sham v'huva devarim ba'otz bi'uram. There's going to be more said about that later on. Now, there is, in the shir earlier, taking more time over here, but in the shir earlier, it had said, I went through this briefly. So it's not incorporated and going into, covered over by the beard of Eric Anpin. And even so, the beard comes to Zer Anpin. Meir lamata bedikna de Zer Anpin, and shines into the beard of Zer Anpin. Dikna de Eric Anpin is chalak l'shlosha asa tikunim shonim. It gets divided into 13 different tikunim. Hanovim or ha'elyon, who stream down the upper light. And so 9 of them continuously go downward, who shine in to the 9 tikkunim of the dikna of Zer Anpin. Lahashgos as gufo, in order to water his body. In other words, give him nourishment and build him up. But the 4 on the top, they remain up above. And don't go down. Now, how this works physically, or trying to understand the physical sense, that's what the Rav is really trying to tell us here. Or we get that in this. This comes from the Eitz Chaim. So it says the dikmat is there anpen rock la'ite muzumanus, only in special times, which he's going to explain in the next year. This is Baruch Fleischman. This is the Tikkun Elevator Kola.